No, you're insane!
Hello and welcome to the Madhouse, episode 73. I'm Ultimate Spy 53, the host of this podcast, and joining me this week, I have some great friends. Please introduce yourselves.
Sorry, I was not doing. Okay. Oh, so I'm Steve Kovoc, also known as Steve Kovoc, so hello.
Hello.
Lucas, I'm a person. Yeah, no, not Cthulhu. Alright,
That's the way your Lucas person thing. 1 out of 1 sponsor sleeper is 6. And bigdinoguy here. Yeah, you know who I am. Right now I am trying to raid a service facility where we're talking, and I am, well, I'm kind of fucked. But anyway.
Alright, great. So yeah, there was some pretty exciting news, sort of. Well, it was kind of negative, but also positive. Negativity, last week I briefly mentioned that Colin Trevorrow was fired from episode 9 of Star Wars. However, recently, J.J Abrams, who directed Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, has been hired to direct Episode 9, which has not been titled yet. But what do you guys think of that? I'm excited.
I don't know anything about the guy who was going to direct it.
Yeah.
At first, so I mean,
So, like, originally there were supposed to be, like, some brothers that did it. I forget what they had done before with their other work. But, they left it, and then all of a sudden they had, who was his name? Then it was Trevorrow, then, now it's Abrams again. That's returning. Personally, I'm much more happy with this.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with the way that he handled Force Awakens. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, it was.
And made earnings for that one. And instead of having 3 completely different directors for I'm glad that he's returning. There was a lot of, as far as I know, the part of the reason the other directors were the directors, because they've been having issues with the studio itself, with the way that they want to bring the movie. I think that not only does J.J. Abrams have a really amazing grasp, he started it,
Yeah, of
but
course.
he has a lot of respect for the original content and for the respect to Disney. I understand this is the best thing that could happen to it.
Yep. I mean, honestly, it's interesting because the Han Solo movie, well, one of two things. The Han Solo movie, that got like both directors, or think about it, both directors were left over creative differences, and then they got a new director. And then just recently, I saw a post about this news, this like pretty recent news. It's like, I don't know, a week old or something like that. It's only a few days old, I would say. But basically, I saw a post on Facebook about like saying people have already petitioned for them to replace J.J. Abrams and get him fired. Like, why? Stop it, guys! Like, I even heard a comment saying, "Yeah, just another movie that J.J. Abrams is gonna ruin because Episode 7 was garbage." I'm like, I disagree with you on that, person. That is not cool.
So the reason why that people are having so many issues with J.J. Abrams, like when he brought in himself, really, is the fact that the original canon, which is now the expanded universe, was completely whitewashed. I mean, just all of a sudden one day, it is no longer part of the story.
True.
However, a lot of pure-hearted people that are just like, oh my god, I love those stories, but what actually happened to the characters and whatnot? They have problems with it because all of a sudden what they've known for years is now not canon anymore.
It's true.
And some directors come in that brings in this new thing, and they get rid of Star Killer. Literally one of the most powerful Force users in the entire universe. 2 video games with that character, really expansive things. Darth Vader speaks to the princess and whatnot. All of a sudden, completely out the window, renamed for some random ass planet. Then you have this weird goth guy named Ben, whose name really doesn't fit.
Yeah, that was weird.
Solo child. Third one for Luke. And just all of this gothic kind of going to him.
Definitely.
People are having a lot of issues with that. No,
Let me ask you for a second. Wasn't there a character in the Extended Universe named Ben Skywalker or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I never read it though, but I heard it.
That's
Oh yeah, there's Ben.
that's all people get their shit from.
Well, and then Kylo Ren really heavily based off of Luke Solo from the Legend timeline.
Exactly. Yeah, Luke Skywalker, he married Marjay, who was basically a Force user assassin for the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They married. They had a couple kids that I forget all their names. I think wasn't it like Caden Skywalker or something like that?
I think they even renamed their own kid. Like, I think one of them was
one other name.
Anakin or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And in the Solos, they had Jason Solo and like
Yeah.
but basically they completely changed different kids. Then just slapped the name on Kylo Ren, who was supposed to be Jason Solo, and he's it. A lot of people there have issues because what they know is getting completely turned around. It's getting completely upside down. They have a lot of references in different expanded material, and I use that word. I use that word ironically. We have a bunch of comic books out right now, a bunch of different expanded universes that are canon that establish a once and for all canon. Everyone that works under our being needs to follow this canon. However, they're also pretty respectful of the source material.
Yep.
Right, like the Ben Solo thing, they're respectful of the source material, and they're respectful of the expanded universe, in ways that they are alluding to more characters, they're bringing in different names, they're bringing in new characters that are tweaked to fit their own needs, but in a way, they are still part of the universe. Like,
yeah, of course.
What was it? In Star Wars Rebels, in Star Wars Rebels, the guy, Starkiller, what's his original name again? Not Canon.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen any of those.
I can't. The guy now, more from the Force of Luke games. Yeah. He was originally slated to, or not originally, I said it was like in the whole, like, on the drawing board of Star Wars Rebels. He's the one that Star Wars Rebels was to have the Inquisitors. They were going to make him an Inquisitor. They were going to make him an Inquisitor. But then they're like, you know what? No, we can't do this. We can't have him like as some minor role off in the background that's just he's killed off in one episode.
Yeah.
That because they knew that, hey, they'd be stepping off a huge fan base for this character, who was one of the most powerful guys ever, super badass, that he'd either be a hero or a downright villain.
Yep.
They really don't want to come in and make him play the game, so might as well make him a big ass planet or something.
True, yeah. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
That's why people are having issues with them. It's not with the director himself.
Yeah.
It's with the way that they're handling material. He should stick to it.
And some people think that Force Awakens is also just a repeat of A New Hope.
Yeah, people were saying that because it's like, oh, it's just another reboot or a remake. It's like, yeah, I do understand that they kind of call back to Episode 4 in a way with a lot of the references, but it's supposed to be a sequel to Episode 6, not 4. It was similarity, yeah, it was. But it's like, come on, people.
On top of that, you know the Phantom Menace, right?
Yes.
It also kind of has a similar sort of thing. Like a Skywalker or someone who ends up becoming a Jedi, you know, starts off on a desert planet, and then you pick them off, and then, you know, and at the end they blow up with big space. So, you know.
Yeah, but like...
And George Lucas even said himself that, you know, Star Wars kind of rhymes over time. It's supposed to kind of rhyme a little bit.
I mean, yeah, totally. The whole idea with the whole new director thing is this is not the first Star Wars movie that's gotten it. In fact, like I said before, with the Han Solo movie, which is currently in production, it's really stupid but also interesting and weird. Like, I don't understand why. Because with the Han Solo movie, I think they had like 2 directors or something like that before they finally left it, and then it's like, come on, people! Is it that hard to make a Star Wars movie about a character? Come on, just do it. And then finally, it's like, oh yeah, we finally got a new director. It's like, come on, just make it already. And then this second time that they're like, oh yeah, Colin, we're not gonna hire you. You're out. Oh, J.J. Abrams did a good job on Episode 7. Let's bring him back for Episode 9. Great. It's like, Yeah, do it, right?
Well, I think that they're also trying to do the whole J.J. Abrams thing because it's more of a minority that doesn't like
Yeah.
episode 7.
I disagree with them.
A majority. And so I think that just trying to win more minority.
Yeah.
They're just trying to win more brownie points.
Yep.
By bringing him in. Because a lot of people are pissed off that he wasn't going back from episode 8. But the reason why he wasn't is because he had to go back and make Star Trek. Not Star Wars. Not Star Trek. No, he had already started.
Yeah, I heard he already did Star Trek.
Yeah,
He basically swapped franchises, which is really weird because that's like not usually a thing that happens anymore. But like, yeah, because he literally, I think he went from Star Trek, the first in the series reboots, to Star Wars, which is very, very different. Like, I've never seen a director do that where they go from one nerd project series, like, because Star Trek is a nerd franchise, to another nerd franchise. Like, that's really weird.
People have done that.
I guess so.
Just not between Star.
Two franchises that begin with Star. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It definitely is interesting. Yeah, yeah. But like, I mean, I still like his work because I've seen what the Star Trek movie or was it just? I think it was just the 09 one, right? The first one in the new series. Pretty sure that's what is the first one. Yeah, yeah. So I think it was either the first one or the first two, Into Darkness also. Before I don't know, but basically it went from Star Trek to Star Wars, which is interesting because Star Trek was so good, and I really like that franchise, and I finally got to the original series. But seeing the new reboot movie franchise, which is actually really good, and seeing it directed by him, and then seeing him go to episode 7, that would never happen. It's like, and it turns out it's actually really good. So I disagree with people saying that it's not going to be. It's like, oh, just another movie he's gonna ruin. Like, no, just wait. You don't know he's gonna ruin it. And just because you have an opinion about a movie you didn't like does not mean it's gonna suck.
A lot of people complain about the way he does script, and he didn't write the script. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people that didn't like Star Wars. I mean, it's.
a great job as a director because you gotta remember, J.J. Abrams the director is a position that basically directs where something is supposed to go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They're not the ones who write the story. They're the ones that kind of influence the story and go, okay, I want you to act this way, I want you to act this way.
Yep, that is actually very true.
The Force Awakens was fantastic.
Yeah, totally. Although one thing I will. Yeah, well, one thing I will say about episode 7 was because. I mean, those of you who don't read the comics and the books in between, I had absolutely no idea where the First Order came from, having seen episodes. I mean, I saw, I'm like, wait, how did the timeline go from, the Empire going poop to First Order? Like, what the hell? I mean, I guess I didn't read the books and everything, so I didn't understand the stuff, but I'm like, that was one thing I didn't like about episode 7 was the story they were telling between episodes 6 and 7 about how the evil came back. It's like, what? I mean, I'll talk about more of that in my review, but still.
Especially because I don't really have the time or money to do a whole lot of exploring into books and whatnot. I'm gonna watch videos on, like, hey, where this character came from?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I did that with the expanding universe because it's impossible to collect them all.
Oh, yeah. Because there are literally there are hundreds of books and media out there that when the new movies that are coming out that aren't part of the episodes, when they come out, it's like, oh, they're gonna all be there's thousands of books and they're gonna add more to it. They're just gonna keep adding more, and that's exciting. But it's like, it's literally impossible. I had like a whole list of all these Star Wars medias that I want to eventually read, but it's literally, well, it's not hundreds, but it's dozens of stuff. So, it's a huge universe. I don't think you guys understand how big it is. I mean, I think you guys do, but to some people, people don't understand how big it is. So, it is big, yeah, especially with like some of the characters they're doing. But still, on the topic of this new direction, I'm excited to see where it's going. I'm excited to see if J.J. Abrams is going to do something new, because, I mean, this is only the second Star Wars movie he's directed, but I'm wondering, like, if he's gonna do something different than what, I mean, obviously the story will be a little different, you know, same characters, but different story. But I'm wondering, like, what do they think he'll do differently with this episode than episode 7?
Hmm?
Yeah, what do you think J.J. Abrams will be doing differently in episode 9 that he did in episode 7? I'm just curious.
Oh, sorry, you're talking.
That's fine. I kind of figured that. Get your face.
Oh my god, this is
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway, like I said, I enjoy J.J. Abrams' work.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few of his different work, including like a couple episodes of Lost that he's done. I love his work. He is an amazing director.
Yeah.
And he did a fantastic job with episode 7.
Yeah, agreed.
I wish that he had come back for episode 8, however, at the same time, I understand, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. What Star Trek, on the other hand, I love the first and the second one. I have some issues with it, and a lot of other fans, because it felt too much like Star Wars.
Well, they did sneak stuff in there. They stuck an RT unit in there, so.
Myself and a lot of other people had that same issue, but on the flip side, that he's perfect for Star Wars. He did an amazing job bringing back his series, but I love how he did it. My only hope.
What?
They're able to do. I don't know how they're able to tackle it with episode 8, but I hope that my main concern is continuity with Leia dying.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm concerned about.
And the majority of episode 8, I don't know if she's going to die in the middle of it or how they're going to do it, but she dies somehow.
Yep.
And if they don't kill her off at the end of episode 8, I think that he's an amazing way to bring the send off and to close the series. I'm very confident. Granted, episode 7 was on its way out. I said this before, you can watch this videos and you can watch, and if he fucks up, it's over.
Yep.
I was very concerned with whether he's going to push his material with a level of maturity needed for a beloved franchise, and let alone like bringing it into life. I think that he did an amazing job bringing it back to life. I think that he set us on the course that is just perfect, and it's an appropriate time for him to kind of step back, see how the series goes, and then end it correctly.
Yeah.
The difference between like what's the guy's name? The guy that did the original Alien movie, Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
My concern with him in the new Alien franchise is because he was far too away from most of the franchise. I mean, the last one that he did, the very first movie, only one movie up until that point was the first one, and he was so involved. It completely changed from what he originally envisioned, and he never listened to the fans. J.J. Abrams, he's done an amazing job listening to the fans. He's done an amazing job working with Disney. He's still maintaining a level of integrity even if he keeps the fans intact.
Yeah.
I think that he is going to do an amazing job closing it out, and it could not have possibly found anyone better to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from what I've seen him, yeah, go ahead, Steven. Go ahead.
I really like what he did, okay?
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's better than, what could have been, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, like what I've seen from him so far, it's been really good. Like they've kept it to the original story. Like they've really made it a true movie, like a true like not like actually made it, you know, like when it comes to Star Trek, they actually made it a Star Trek movie and not something completely different. When it comes to Star Wars, he knows how to make an actual Star Wars movie, like unlike the prequels where there were some Star Wars in it, but it was mostly politics for quite a while because that was some of the stuff. That's the only negative part I will say about those prequels is the politics. But they were eventually Star Wars.
I was fine with like a really or something. And it was no. The last one. It's mostly the dialogue and the way everyone acted in that. So
I mean, it didn't feel like Star Wars until much later.
like the way Palpatine was like,
Yeah.
like the way Palpatine was all like, no.
Yeah. But still, there are a lot of good things about those movies, and with Episode 7, he brought it back. He made Star Wars what it was supposed to be, which was about, you know, Star Wars with actual, you know, battleships and stuff like that. And I still consider all of the movies perfect. In my own opinion, I still like them all. But with his way of directing, I've noticed from seeing Star Trek and Star Wars both, at least once he's directed, I think he did the first two. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was the first two Star Trek movies in the reboot with Chris Pine. But those ones, he did a tremendous job with them. And he did the same tremendous job with Episode 7. He truly made it awesome. And it was the movie we never thought we would get. Because I think literally it had been 10 years since Star Wars had come out. And we had nothing new except for the Clone Wars. And we knew, like, when are we going to get a true sequel to Episode 6? Because Episode 6 was great, and it's like, what's the rest? And we finally got, J.J Abrams was like, yeah, you want more of the story? Here you go, Episode 7. And he finally gave it to us, and it's like, great. And the fact that he's making another one in the same trilogy, it makes, I think it's going to be really great, because all the people are, like, I'm just kind of like, I looked at the post, I'm like, really, people? There's a fan petition for getting him fired? Come on! It's like, stop that! What's wrong with him? He's a great director. Stop giving him shit. He's great. But the same thing with, like, the Han Solo movie, where it's always, like, people, like, leaving franchises and stuff, and it's like, it makes me kind of annoyed when like, movie franchises, they have directors, like, you know, for example, Justice League, which apparently Zack Snyder left for family issues, but also Han Solo, both directors, I think there were two directors that got fired or something, and I'm pretty sure that's how it happened, and they got a new director, and it's like, really, people? Is it that hard to make a Star Wars movie, get a director who will actually work with people? It's like, come on.
Like I said, the guy from Justice League,
Yeah.
one of his family members died. I think it was
Yeah. I know about that. That's why I'm not inclined to see that movie, just because of how crazy it's going with the reshoots. I mean, that's the one thing I hate about some movies where they do over-extensive reshoots and they market it stupidly. That's what I'm concerned about. But I'm more concerned with the Star Wars universe, with the way that directing is going with this particular movie. And I mean, I'm really excited to see this movie about Han Solo, because it's like, that's the first movie we're getting, like, first actual story about Han Solo. I think we've gotten, it was like in, you know, books and stuff, but this is the first movie we're getting about him. And the fact that we've already lost two directors and gained one, it's like, just stop with the whole director thing. Pick a director and settle on one. It's annoying.
Right. Oh yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm glad that they have finally. That they finally decided on him. I think that he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it before.
Yeah.
Frankly, I really don't care who directs it. I just want a good movie.
Yeah.
I want a good close to a franchise that myself, my father, I have a large investment in this franchise. I mean, very personal to me. I love this franchise. It's been a big part of my life. Hell, I'm wearing the AT-AT shirt right now.
Oh, yeah. I have a shirt. I have a Palpatine Vader shirt, actually.
And they don't fuck it up. If they fuck it up, I can say it's true that there's going to be a poor job, and I'm not going to watch that movie. But I have every confidence that Abrams is not going to screw it up.
Yeah, I mean, the real question here now is, after Episode 9 comes out, when it eventually does come out in 2019, even though it's crazy how, like, the way they've rearranged it, they pushed it back to December, which I'm actually not surprised about, because this entire trilogy has been seeing Christmas season release dates. Something not like it says Christmas, but it's not actually releasing on Christmas. It means the season of Christmas. And I'm not surprised that they pushed it back to December, because that's just, it's your time of tradition with this current trilogy.
You know why, though, right?
Not really. I mean, I kind of get the idea of it. But I'm still not completely sure why they do it.
Dude, it's marketing. That's all it is. There's no, like, this is season. I mean, it's all people are going to go see a movie at Christmas time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, that happened. That happened with. It's crazy because that happened when.
If new movie comes out with a bunch of different pieces of marketing, which granted, that's what Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Yeah.
all those were. Hell, Transformers was the richest just a half-hour cartoon ad. That's all it was. And Star Wars is a way very similar. They have a lot of merchandise. I'm talking a shitload of merchandise, and if it comes out during December, right when I got little kids that don't want to see it. They're going to want to play with the toys. I mean, that's exactly all that they plan on. It doesn't matter when it comes out. I mean, like, there might be a couple of different things about, hey, you'll have a higher audience viewing, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, like when me and my siblings went to see Into the Woods on Christmas, it was sold out. So it wouldn't be surprising if a movie came out on Christmas, any movie on Christmas, and it sold out. I mean, heck, the first, I think Star Wars always sells out in the end. Like the seventh movie was like made $2 billion, which is insane. I bet this movie, the episode, will make even more. Now, the real question now is, after this sequel trilogy is wrapped up, are they gonna make 10, 11, 12? I have no idea. Maybe I'm not saying with the same characters. I'm saying like with Rey and Finn and all the new characters they've introduced. If they're gonna carry it over to episode 10, 11, 12, if they actually do that. If they decide to carry on with a new trilogy, are they gonna do it? They can carry on with Rey, Finn, and Poe, if they do that. I'm just curious. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he has to go, but
I'm the microphone here.
Lucas, do you have anything to say about that idea, though? So Lucas,
yeah.
Well, do you have anything to say about that, though? What we're discussing, because you butted in with go ahead and haven't warning us, which I like the fact that you did that. I'm glad you let us know, but just continue on.
Right. Well, what I would guess is if they do go on and make another trilogy after this one, that Ryan will probably be in it in the same capacity that the characters from the original trilogy are this trilogy.
Yeah, of course.
Older mentor characters.
It makes sense, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be crazy. Like, what happens to Luke? I'm kind of curious because the way it's going now is that we lost Han in the last episode. They're gonna write out Leia in the next one, at the very end of the next one or whatever. And I'm wondering if they're basically gonna kill off all the original characters from the original trilogy, because that's the way it's seen. Because we've already lost Han, we're gonna lose Leia soon, and who knows what's gonna happen to Luke. I don't know. I have no idea what episode 8 is gonna have for it, because I have no idea, what's gonna happen, because it hasn't come out yet. But we can theorize, we can predict, I guess. I don't know. So.
No, I'm hoping they don't make it a series right away. I enjoy the series that we said before, but I don't really want to have 10, 11, and 12 being made 5 years later.
Yeah.
Right. I hope that they give it a long time duration of Star Wars.
Yeah, of course.
Well, there kind of is already. I know. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the question is, what more of story is there to tell? Like, after episode 9 wraps up, what more of the story is there going to tell? Or are they just going to launch into the the individual stories about the individual characters? I mean, is it like it'll be like the end of Star Wars kind of such scenario, which I find that can never happen. Star Wars will never end. It's so popular and it makes so much money that it will never end. Yeah.
Star Wars is never going to end.
I hope not.
It's not going to end. It doesn't matter what they do. They're not going to end it.
Yeah, I hope not.
The question is movies. Movies or not, what should happen? It's not going to end. Not for many.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
exactly.
Considering that they're doing so many new stuff, like they're making all these stories about individual characters we haven't even heard about. All these characters that we're gonna get a new movie for them. We're gonna get Han Solo. We're gonna get Boba Fett for no reason apparently. Maybe even I heard a young Yoda is or I don't even know what, like a Yoda story, something to do with Yoda. Who knows? Obi-Wan, obviously. What? Yeah, shoot.
They better not do a Yoda story. Never do a fucking Yoda story.
I'm just saying.
Yoda is supposed to be this wise old monk, Muppet dude, and you have no idea who the fuck he is.
Yep.
That is all Yoda is. He's supposed to be the wise old badass that you listen to or not to do, or be, or not be or not to be. What the fuck? There's no way I can't believe you got that confused. Oh my god, I give you my Star Wars license, my nerd license, but anyway, they should never end Yoda. Exactly. He's supposed to be strategy mystery. That is all Yoda is. That is what he's meant to be. Never through a fucking Yoda movie.
Yeah, definitely. No, I don't know. That's what I heard. People were saying that's a rumored movie. Oh, you have to go? Oh, okay. Alright, I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, no problem. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, alright, so yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I just saw this as a rumor, really. It was simply a rumor. It's like, oh, what could be next? Yoda and Boba Fett. Although Boba Fett movie, I don't really see that happening, even though they said they're gonna make it. Why would you do that? He's not a character that's popular, really. He's cool, I guess. There's not really any story to tell about Boba Fett. We already knew his story in episode 2. We don't need a new one. So that's something I don't really understand why they would do that. Do you guys have any thoughts about that? Brandon? What the hell? Yeah, your turn. I was talking about Boba Fett, saying he didn't need it. He doesn't need a movie.
I hope that they do a movie on him. However, since they're doing they're doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi one for certain.
Yeah.
But I really would love to see a Boba Fett film. He's one of my favorites, and I think that having a villain as a central character would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that would be badass.
Well, they have to have lightsabers. They can't not have lightsabers in a Star Wars movie. I really
don't care about lightsabers.
Like the Han Solo movie. They gotta have lightsabers.
Here's my thing. I really don't care about lightsabers if it's appropriate. The reason why I hated Rogue One wasn't because of lightsabers, it was story-wise.
You hated it?
I hated it.
Oh, I never saw it. Don't spoil it.
Oh, they never had any lightsabers.
Oh my god. Oh no, Darth Vader had a lightsaber. I just saw like a glimpse of the movie, but that's it.
If it has a good story, it furthers the plot of the series, and it engages you with characters that you're going to be invested in, that's a good film. I don't care if it takes place in Star Wars with the middle or have wizards with laser swords. I really don't care. Have a good story. That's all I care about. Having Boba Fett? Epic nerdgasm. I mean, that would be amazing to see. I love Boba Fett. He is ultimate Jedi killer. A badass, ready for Jabba the Hutt, going in through, setting people on fire. That would be awesome to see. I don't care if they have lightsabers or not.
Yeah, of course. Although I will say that what made the re-releases of Episode 5 so good were the double voices, because they redubbed the voiceover for Boba Fett with the actor who played Jango Fett, who is Tamara Morrison, or Timur, I don't know, I can't pronounce his first name, but basically when George Lucas re-released I think it was the episode 5. It could have been episode 4, but I'm pretty sure it was just episode 5, maybe episode 6, where he redubbed the voice over for Boba Fett with Timur, I can't pronounce his first name, but the guy who played Jango Fett in episode 2. He redubbed the voice over, and it sounds really good because, of course, it makes sense because Boba Fett is the son of Jango Fett, and he's basically cloned from Jango, so it makes sense for that to happen. And that was one thing I liked about it. But I mean, just bring Tamara Morrison back if they do it, because otherwise it would just be, you know, weird to have. I mean, I was already weirded out when they.
Boba Fett really actually would love to do a Boba Fett movie because he's the appropriate age now.
Yeah, he's still doing it. I think he's actually did. I think he's doing voiceover for the Clone Wars actually, or whatever. Yeah, I think Rebels, whatever the Rebels. Yeah, actually, what surprised me even more is the fact that, you know, these animated shows are happening now, and the fact that the original actors who played the roles of those characters, like the actor who played Boba Fett, he actually voiced his own character in Clone Wars, and I didn't even notice that. I like that part. I mean, not all actors do it with Star Wars. I mean, obviously, you know, Anthony Daniels did it with C-3PO, but like a lot of actors are coming back. Like, heck, Liam Neeson did it for a flashback episode in Clone Wars. That was really cool. But I like the fact that, I mean, I haven't seen that show in forever. I need to go back and watch it. But what I remember is it was some episodes where they would actually... Hello and welcome to the Madhouse, episode 73. I'm Ultimate Spy 53, the host of this podcast, and joining me this week, I have some great friends. Please introduce yourselves. What else do they have? I want to say... Yeah, no, I think that wasn't the same guys. It was Anthony Daniels, and also I think one more guy. I can't remember exactly. And I know they brought back Lando. I know they brought back Billy Dee Williams in Rebels, which I haven't seen yet. But I like a lot about how with the Clone Wars was actually one of the most successful series, and they bring back actors for the original role. Like, I was very surprised when I found out that Liam Neeson voiced Qui-Gon again after so many years. It was like, wow, that's incredible. And that's one thing I like about the animated shows is they do such a good job of actually bringing back. I mean, not all the actors get the treatment. I mean, obviously Anakin and Obi-Wan did not get it because they have their own voices, and the guy who played Obi-Wan in Clone Wars, he sounds enough like, you know, Ewan McGregor that he can do a pretty good Obi-Wan impression.
Same actor played Colton. I think he also played Vader.
Who?
He played a few characters in the show.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. Still, I like...
He played Colton and Obi-Wan and Christian Grievous.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Like, yeah, great. The guy who voiced Grievous in episode 3 actually did come back to Clone Wars to voice the same character. I was very surprised because when I saw, I think it was the movie of Clone Wars before they actually spawned the TV show, that I was surprised because the actor, or no, the character of Count Dooku in Clone Wars sounds exactly like Christopher Lee. I mean, obviously Christopher Lee is no longer living. Rip Christopher Lee, rest in peace. But it was really interesting because he sounds so... whoever voiced Count Dooku in Clone Wars sounds almost exactly like Count Dooku in episode 2 and 3. And I'm like, but it's not Christopher Lee. What the hell? And that's what I like about, you know, actors who do really good impressions of characters, even though they're not the original actor. And that's what makes those animated shows in the universe of Star Wars so great, is they can pull off impressions like it's nothing. And so that's really why those series are successful, because they do really good jobs with voice acting. And also just to expand the franchise's story. But yeah. Anyway, that's really all I can say about that. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about that was announced or anything? Because that's all I really had that I could think of was talking about the Abrams director reveal for episode 9 and a little bit of the Han Solo movie. Basically about directors and stuff. That's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to discuss?
No, not really.
Not really?
No, not much else.
Brendan?
I think that it's going to... I'm looking forward to episode 8, episode 9 even more so. I hope to God they don't fuck up the Han Solo movie like they did with 1.
Yeah.
And I don't know, everyone's Solo movie?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be awesome. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to what Star Wars has in the future for the most part. For the most part, not all, but yeah, I have every confidence in it.
All right. Well, that sounds. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Now, you listeners might be wondering if when we're gonna do that Harry Potter podcast that I mentioned a few weeks ago. It is coming. I have no idea when. It could come next week. It could come the week after. I have no idea, but I mean, if people agree on it for next week, we could do our Harry Potter podcast next week, or the week after that. It all depends on what people want to do. But Big Guy did want, like I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, or we got in the subject of Harry Potter, and suddenly he wanted to talk about it. So yeah, that's coming soon. So look for that. And also, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. That does it for it. That's all we have to talk about. If you did like it, then please hit the like button. It really is appreciated. And also subscribe to the channel for more episodes of this podcast. And also don't forget to subscribe to bigdinoguy. He does reviews. Also subscribe to Steve Kovoc, who unfortunately hasn't been active in the past year, but that's his fault, blame him. If you do want to see content, just check him out. He's got some old videos. It's pretty cool. But yeah, you can also click to your bottom right and bottom left to go to last week's episode, and before that in case you missed them. And yeah, that is all we have. So thank you for listening again, and we will be back next time for another episode. Alright, bye!
Okie dokie. Bye.
You know.